Happy Sunday. And as good old JR says, you know what that means. He brings in, I think he says that every Wednesday. It's Wednesday night, and you know what that means. But hey, happy Sunday and good morning from the West Coast. I am your host, Tony Twist, and I'm joined by, as always,
Healers. Hey, good morning, guys. Happy Sunday. Ooh, I got a little bit of the jitters. I'm still coming off from that rush from yesterday, so.
I want to hear all about it. So you went to GCW last night, right? Was that insane?
I did. So it was crazy. It's always crazy. It's always a good time. But dude, the Briscoes lost another freaking title. I'm so shook. Like, I was surprised, but at the end, honestly, I was rooting for Allie Katch because this girl has been, I don't know, this girl's amazing. I've been seeing her for a couple shows lately, especially the GCW LA fight shows that I've been going to.
Right.
Much love her. So it was a great show. Great show. Well, you definitely need to come out to LA.
I don't leave my house, so only for work.
I don't leave wrestling shows.
Right? I need to go out. You guys got all the action out there in LA. I'm in northern Arizona, and after COVID, WWE did used to come to Prescott Valley, which is the arena is about 15 to 20 minutes from my house. So I was hoping when shit kind of gets back to normal, they would be coming out this way, but I don't know.
Nothing soon.
So anyways, and let's see, on our YouTube channel, we got a good morning from Kenny at the Call Up Podcast.
Hey.
Good morning, Kenny, or should I say good afternoon, because he's in NYC, New York City. But anyways, Sunday, this is ATW All Things Wrestling Podcast. Thank you for joining us. We're live on YouTube, live on Facebook, live on Twitter, live everywhere. Right? Wherever you got, right? Wherever you got social media, where you have a phone, where you have a computer, a laptop. So anyways, we're supposed to be joined today by the host from the Lockup Podcast, Matt Davis and Taryn Terrell. She is from NWA, and she's also a Hollywood stunt woman, but she won't be able to make it with us. Matt Davis is running a little bit behind. He said he will be joining us shortly. So we'll be jumping on with him here in a few, but let's go ahead and just kind of jump into it. I would love to talk about GCW, but a lot has been happening over the last week. So we had our show last Sunday, and good morning, Tony, RDZ, or good afternoon, wherever you may be. So last Sunday was night 2 of WrestleMania, and according to Kenny, I have to probably acknowledge him, but I have to acknowledge Roman Reigns as my tribal chief. But just to let you know, I did pay up. Kenny got his money. He got his $50, but I'm not putting Roman Reigns in the background. I'm not doing that. I'll acknowledge Roman Reigns. I paid up. I paid my part of the bet, but I think we're good there. Right? Would you agree, Liz?
We're good. I got you, Kenny. I'll wear a Roman Reigns shirt next week.
Roman Reigns shirt, Roman Reigns chonies. You know, Kenny's rocking his Roman Reigns chonies right now.
Thanks.
He said change the background. No, Kenny, not changing it, man. I'm just going to stay with the WrestleMania theme this week. I paid up, brother. We're good there. I didn't say I was going to acknowledge Roman Reigns, but I'm doing it right now. He is currently my tribal chief, unfortunately. Kenny's going to report the channel. Thanks, Kenny. Appreciate it, buddy. So anyways,
how great it is.
Right? Night 2 of WrestleMania. What did you think? I thought night 1 was better.
I liked night 2 better. I mean, yes, we had matches. I don't know. I think for me, it was more of the whole, just like that stunt type of thing. I had fun, like I was mentioning in the chat. Like I had fun watching Sami Zayn and Johnny Knoxville. That was freaking hilarious.
Really?
Like, I thought it was great. It's sports entertainment, and I thought it was entertaining.
No, I'm not gonna lie. I gotta be honest with you. That was a lot funnier than I thought it was gonna be. A lot more entertaining for sure.
Exactly. I didn't know what to expect, especially, when all bets were off. So I was like, okay, knowing Johnny Knoxville, like this dude is hardcore already. So I didn't know what to expect. And at the end of it, I was pretty pleased. So honestly, I thought night 2 was good. I wasn't a great fan of the ending, of course.
Right.
It probably got cut short because of the whole Roman Reigns popping out his, thing. And then
Yeah, I really I really was wondering where they were going with that. Like, I know people are like, "Oh, it was sudden," but it wasn't that short of a match.
it wasn't short, but I feel like the ending could have it could have had a better ending, or maybe it just could have lasted a little bit longer, more brutal in a way, just only because of what the match was supposed to be. They're unifying two huge titles, and then for Brock to just lose to a spear, like I was kind of like, yes, it came out of nowhere, everything, but I don't know. I just feel like that ending was it wasn't enough for me. Especially, even more because Brock's like, I'm coming for blood. I was expecting them to, go hardcore, like, eventually somebody was going to get cut. Not that, I mean, I love blood. I love blood on matches. So I was expecting a little bit more. I was expecting to get a little bit more brutal, more like, you kind of want to look away, but you kind of want to keep watching. So that was my take on it. But aside from that, I think like the rest of the show was pretty decent. I actually really enjoyed the women's tag team match as well. It wasn't as crazy as I thought it would be, but it was great. It was great. I see why. I know we were talking about how, they could have split the two women's title matches, night 1, night 2, but I see kind of why, they got together and then we had the women's tag team night 2.
Gotcha. Hey, really quick, can you check your audio? Because for some reason I'm getting a lot of, I don't know, there's like static on your voice. Anybody listening out there, Kenny or Tony RDZ on YouTube, how does Liz's audio sound?
Does it sound horrible?
Yeah, because you just talked and it was like aliens behind you.
Oh, probably there is. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm getting a weird feedback.
Let's see. Is that better?
Can you exit the stream and then come back in?
Yeah,
like it won't do anything to the broadcast if you just exit and then come back. Maybe it's on my end, but I'm not hearing it when I talk. I'm hearing it when you talk.
Okay, so let me fix that.
They're saying it's a little fuzzy. Tony's saying your audio is fuzzy for some reason. I don't know why. Gotta love technology. But anyways, I'll speak to what you were talking about while you exit and come back. So yeah, as far as the Johnny Knoxville thing, I think that segment was a lot funnier than I thought it was going to be. It was pretty entertaining. As far as the women's tag team stuff, I don't know. I don't really know where they're going with that. I don't know what their plans are. I don't know what they're going to do. I think they're confused as far as what to do. Creative is great on some aspects and on other, but hey, it's not always going to be. They're not going to give the fans everything they want, despite what the fans think that WWE just needs to give the fans everything they want. I mean, that's not how shit works. I think they are pretty good with long-term storytelling. So we'll kind of see where that goes. The whole Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley thing, I'm not sure exactly where they're kind of heading with that. They tease a lot of breakups and, I don't know. I guess the overall consensus is night 2 was solid. I'm going to go with night 1 as being a little bit better because of the whole Cody Rhodes, Stone Cold part of it. But night 2 was solid. Overall, Liz, what would you give the whole WrestleMania weekend? What would you give it? And do you think it needs to stay 2 nights?
Out of 5, I give it a 4.
Now I can't hear you at all.
No? Seriously?
Can't hear you.
Oh, Lord. Hold on. Let me switch it.
No. Can anybody hear Liz out there?
This is
Kenny saying, yeah, night 1 was better. Kenny agrees, even though he's acknowledging Roman Reigns as his tribal chief. Yeah, Liz, we can't hear you at all now. It's not even fuzzy. Just can't even hear you. Yeah. I don't know.
Really?
Oh, Levante's saying they can hear you. I don't know why I can't hear her. Can anyone else hear her?
Can you guys hear me? Hear me now?
Maybe I need to go out and come back in. I hate technology, though. I really do.
Man. Okay. So you guys could hear.
So everyone can hear.
Me, right?
Give a thumbs up if you can hear Liz.
Because I can hear you.
You can hear me. Is that what you're saying? Yeah.
Yes.
Nobody's giving the thumbs up, so I don't know if they can hear you. Levante's saying they can hear you.
Yeah.
Oh, man, this stinks. Tony, check your levels. We can hear her fine. All right. I'm gonna exit the studio and come back. Liz, you keep it going. Keep talking about night 2. Your thoughts. I'll be back shortly.
Alrighty. Hey guys. Okay, so let's take Tony. I'm just kidding. But night 2, I actually came in back when he was talking about Rhea Ripley. They don't know where that's going. I hope that they're not splitting Liv and Rhea. I mean, I don't know. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about it yet. I love them as singles. I love them together. But I don't know if I can see them as a long-term tag team. I feel like Liv just needs her run by herself. I know they were trying to do it, but you're back. See, now I can't hear you.
How about now? Can you hear me now?
Okay, I can hear you now. Can you hear me?
I can hear you perfectly. All right. So anyways, I know you recovered. Right. Somebody's saying finally the Liz show. We got Matt Davis. He just got on. So we're going to go ahead and bring on Matt Davis from the Lockup Podcast. We're having some technical difficulties this morning, but let's go ahead and clear out some of these YouTube comments here. Kenny's chatting. He's saying he's loving the Liz show. I guess maybe I should just call it a day and just, say, hey, I'm going to go have coffee and sit on the porch. So anyways.
It's going to be the Liz show now.
Let's bring it back. Matt, good morning.
Good morning. It's afternoon, eh?
Okay, that's right. You're on the East Coast.
Afternoon.
Yeah, so I apologize. I ended up on child duty today, and I was out errands with my son. Now I'm home, but all 3 children are inside and are lunatics, so I'm out here on the porch. If at any moment things go south, I may have to go back in there. But for now, we're safe on the porch.
Well, I appreciate you making time to be with us. And you know what, man, shit happens. I got 2 kids too, so I know how that goes. Sometimes we can just kind of space it on things. But yeah, I know Taryn couldn't make it on today. But I want to hear all about Lockup Podcast, but I want to talk about WrestleCon. I was so jealous watching all the videos. I was actually in Dallas for work. Outside of the podcast, I was there for work. But I was in Irving, and I couldn't make it to anything. And Kenny, who's in the chat from the Call Up Podcast, he actually went to a Stone Cold event, and I think he did a GCW show. I mean, it was just wrestling everywhere. You couldn't get a hotel room in Dallas at all.
Yeah. If you wanted to go to something, because I didn't go to any of the evening events except for Mania Night 1, if you want to talk about that. But I get a bunch of kids. I go to bed early. I'm not a late night guy, so I watch a lot of things the next day. Right. But even if you missed the con itself, like there were so many events either being put on by people that were part of the con or just out and about because people know that's. So yeah, I would say to anyone watching or listening, if you're a wrestling fan, get to LA next year, get to SoFi, and just plan on going to at least one day at the con, and then you'll just see there's just shit everywhere. And just being at, so I've been to Super Bowl Media Week, and it's kind of similar in that there's people that are supposed to be there, and then there's people that just are around, right? Like they're just there whether they're supposed to have a table or not because they're visiting their friends or they're going to an event or whatever. So like my buddy who Trey, who actually was my camera guy on the last day, like, he sees Randy Orton coming out of the hotel. He sees Shotzi as we were leaving the building. Like we went by a very stoned Rob Van Dam as we left the venue that day. Like it's just like they're everywhere.
That's crazy. Yeah.
And by the way, if people think that's rude of me to say, like when I can smell you like from half a block away, you're not trying to hide it, Rob Van Dam. right?
That's
And I
me.
don't think Rob Van Dam definitely doesn't hide it. He lets people know he's an avid.
I mean, dude,
he's pushing
He
it.
has his own brand. I think he has his own CBD brand.
Oh, okay.
And,
dude.
like
Well,
that,
I mean, it could have been her too. She was a few steps behind, but it was like as your brain is saying, like, who the hell is smoking? Like, as your brain is thinking that, here comes Rob, and this wave just hit. I was like, holy shit. And then she was a couple feet behind, so it could have been her a little bit too. I'm sorry, I'm blanking on her name.
No, that's
No.
What's her name? Who am I thinking of?
his wife. I'm drawing a blank on her name too.
So the
Katie
point
Forbes,
is,
right?
yes. So the point is,
Katie Forbes.
I think it's like, not that expensive. I went as media, but like it's not that. It's like $40 per session, I think. So well worth it is the point.
Right. Well, our very own Liz, she's in LA, so I think we'll probably be at everything next year, right? Liz?
Oh, dude.
Hell yeah. I'm already planning to take off like a week and a half just for that. So I'm already planning in advance. I've been planning it. Actually, Mania was supposed to be here in 2021, but with this whole pandemic, everything got pushed forward. So it got pushed to 2023. So I kind of been planning this for a while. So, but the whole indie shows, I'm still new to it. So I'm pretty excited for Mania Week with all the indie shows and then meet and greets. WrestleCon, I've never been to WrestleCon. This is actually my first Mania, so period. So
right.
I'm hella excited. I'm already planning for a whole at least week and a half
I would
be off.
Yeah, I would say that. So I lived in LA for a while. What part are you in?
I live in Downey, so Downey / Santa Fe Springs.
So the 562?
Yes, 562.
So how far
right
are
off
you
the
how far are you from SoFi?
From SoFi, depending on traffic, I would say roughly around like 30, 45 minutes with traffic. Maybe for that day, I'm planning for it to be at least like an hour to 2 hours.
Yeah.
Especially because the area is just so congested already. I can only imagine for Mania.
Yeah, and I don't know, did they put on the WrestleCon site yet where they're going to be? Because if they're like near the Staples or whatever, that's not close to the venue.
It's far off. Yeah,
right.
it's far off.
Right. So WrestleCon, it was only 25 minutes, I think, from Jerry World, but obviously with traffic, it was more. So if you're going back and forth a lot, it's a lot. So I'm guessing that's probably what'll happen. Like I'm guessing, but maybe they'll luck out. Maybe they'll put it like right next to it.
Right next to it. I hope so. I know that I honestly haven't visited SoFi yet. So I am still pretty new to that area. So hopefully I get to check it out before Mania, so that way I can kind of like, know my way around. But I'm really, really stoked for it. Hopefully I don't do that whole back and forth thing because LA is just hella horrible with traffic.
Right. No, it's really,
and especially Staples Center being in the middle heart of downtown LA. So it's Great Western at the Forum. Hopefully. Oh yeah, if they do WrestleCon at the Forum, shit, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
It'd be a lot closer.
So funny enough, when I lived in LA, when was Mania was in LA? I want to say 03 or 04.
Around there for WrestleMania 21, correct?
It was Staples Center, and I was actually working. I used to staff events, and we had an event. We were handing out like some shitty energy drink, like to everybody coming out like of the event. But anyway, I definitely. Anyway.
Yeah, I think it probably would have been 04. I went to WrestleMania 18, 19, and 20. 20 was in New York. So yeah, 21 in LA was probably 04 or 05.
It was the one where Undertaker won.
It's the one where John Cena won against JBL. That's how I remember.
Liz might be a little too young for that one.
I was hella young. I cried to my mom to take me because I was a Cena fan. But I was glad that he won that day against JBL. So I still won. But
if you want to have your mind blown, I have a program, and I got to do a picture because I got a program from Mania this year, and I have a program from the world famous WrestleMania 3. Where Hogan slammed Andre the Giant. So I lived here. I was 13 years old, and pay-per-view was different back then. It wasn't as like ubiquitous. So like you could go to like we went to the Fox Theater and paid for a seat, and we sat there and watched it on the big screen. So I went to that, and I still have the program, and I like circled who won, and like I have all that shit. So the fact that I've like, you know, I fell in love again through wrestling, like through my kids. So it's been a pretty awesome journey. But I feel quite old when I look at those old like footage. It's like,
are you a Michigan native then?
No. We watched it here, so it was
okay.
so it was at the Silverdome.
Yeah, because I'm from Detroit, Michigan. I was a kid watching that at a friend's house.
Yeah, so we paid like you couldn't get just like pay-per-view at your house that easily. Like, I mean, it was a thing because I remember there were boxing matches you could pay for, but it was like, hey, come to this event, you pay $20 and we watched it on a big screen together. And you know, it's just like a concert where you order food and whatever. Right. And yeah, I remember that, and it was pretty awesome.
Damn, I bet that's freaking awesome. I wish they would do that. I think they're starting to kind of bring that concept back where they're starting to do it at movie theaters. I still haven't tried it out yet. Like we were talking about earlier, I'm a heavy smoker, so I cannot sit in a movie theater and not smoke. Can't you sneak the vape? No, they don't. Like, I actually tried to once, and they're like, ma'am, you can't. I'm like, oh, it's okay. So I tried it once in a regular movie. So I can only imagine sitting there for 4 hours watching WrestleMania. So that's the only reason why I haven't tried it. But I have seen that there's particular locations now that are starting to bring that concept back. So it's pretty awesome. I think like that you get to have memories. You know, if they do give the brochures, I don't know if they still do that now. Hopefully they do. I don't know if anybody is in the comments that is watching has done it. If you guys can comment. But I know that they are doing it. I've been wanting to, but I'm just like, I just want to watch it at home.
Well, I think they have like usually these places now, like concerts, like they have like a side door that they rope in that you can go out and smoke and come back in. You know what I'm saying? Like a football game, basketball game, whatever. They'll just like
but he's not talking about smoking.
Oh, yeah, like a smoking area.
I was saying, talking about smoking cigarettes.
No.
Well, isn't
we're talking about Rob Van Dam. Yes, it is. But we can't smoke it publicly. That's the thing.
Yeah. Oh, so you can't go 4 hours without getting high? You would not survive?
I mean, I can smoke before and after, but I enjoy smoking during. It's no fun if you can't do it during.
Okay. All right.
Otherwise, you pop an edible and then it'll kick in about hour or two, and then you'd be good to go.
Yeah, that's what I did yesterday at GCW. I did that at GCW yesterday. I pre-game before, and then I had my edible. I smoked on the way there, and by the time I got there, it was little titties, so it was good.
All right. Well, Matt, let's go back to you, man, because I want to talk full circle.
Okay.
Sounds like you were a wrestling fan as a kid. How did you hook up with Taryn? I know you were a podcast guy. I've watched some of your other stuff.
Right.
I saw you interview like Rainn Wilson and other people. Tell me how you got back into the wrestling, or how you got into the wrestling podcast business, and how did you hook up with Taryn?
So the first person is actually Charles Robinson, who is
Little Nate.
Yeah, Little Nate. So I got introduced to him. I don't know how many years ago now. I want to say, I can't fucking remember. All the years run together. I have too many kids.
That's all right.
We did a Spartan race together. He likes Spartan races. So he did some. He did them with his daughter. We met in Asheville. We talked after the race. And he's like, when I come in town next, like, come to the show. I'll get you and your boys tickets. Actually, it's just my older son, Jackson. Okay. And we went to the Atlanta show, but then we went to a house show like the next week, like in Macon, I think it was. Small show. And this is where my real sort of next level love for wrestling was, because we went backstage, we met a lot of people. They were all incredibly nice to my kids. And you know, I know that they're not doing it because I'm a big deal. I'm a friend of Charles's. I'm not some big deal person, right? They're doing it because this is what they do every town, every night. And they take the time to talk to kids and be cool to them and be real with them. And so it was cool that I got to sort of like just, you know, see them, right? Because they come out and they're so big, and then you talk to them and most of like they're just like whatever. But
was
then
this WCW or WWE?
This is WWE. So it's funny, Jinder, I think it was when Jinder was the champ. So that's how long ago it was. And so, you know, I met Ziggler, Charlotte. It's funny, Shinsuke. Actually, Cena was there for like real quick. Everybody was great. But the point is that then we go out for the show and we're sitting essentially front row, and you know, you're at like this house show that's not even close to fill, and they are giving it like they're in front of 70,000 at Mania. Like no difference in the presentation, you know. And I just got like so much respect for these people and like watching them, and that's when like you see them take the real bumps, you know what I mean? And whatever I thought about wrestling before, because yeah, we've all seen like, you know, when they don't hit the target, let's say, and in, you know, 2 hours of wrestling, I saw maybe like 2 of those, and I'm this close,
Right.
And the rest of them are them getting the shit kicked out of each other, flying all over the place. And that kind of was like, okay, now I'm kind of a fan for life. So we start watching Raw and SmackDown every week. Every time they come to town, we go to the show. I see Charles a lot at a lot of these obstacle races. And then somewhere in there was when I saw that Taryn did the races too. And so then I reached out to her and I interviewed her, and we had a great chat. And then we started talking and kind of just became friends. And after we did a couple things together, like we met in Florida for a race, I was like, hey, I'm thinking of starting a new thing. Do you want to do it with me? And she was like, yes. People have asked me, but they want to do just a show about wrestling. I want to do a show about other stuff that's not just wrestling or not just women's wrestling. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of how our friendship evolved.
Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. That's a cool story.
Yeah. And like I consider Charles like a friend now. Like we text all the time, and like he wished me happy birthday, and like he's just a good dude. He's just a really good dude.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, just going back to the old WCW days, you know, when he got the nickname Little Nate,
right? But then he took a huge bump on Friday night at Mania, at Saturday Night at Mania. It was awesome. Oh, yeah. I was so happy.
Yeah, that was. So, what did you think about Mania Night 1 and Night 2?
I mean, if you guys aren't tired of talking about it, I guess I figured maybe you've talked about it a lot.
No, I always like to get, you know. This is all things wrestling. We want to get everybody's perspective. What do you think? I think Night 1 was better than Night 2, but that's just my thoughts.
So I came for like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and my friend Theo and I, who was my camera guy my first day, he works with me a lot. He's a good dude. We were talking about that. Mm-hmm. What night do we go? Is one going to be better than the other? And based on what they said, right? Like you never know what's promised, right? But based on what they said, I said, okay, we got the better night. Night 1 has more matches, and the only match like we're kind of missing is, you know, we don't get Brock and Roman, but I'm okay with that because I feel like all the matches we have are good, right? Mm-hmm. And maybe we get KO and Stone Cold, right? We thought Stone Cold would come out, talk some shit, and they say, see you tomorrow night. That's what we thought was going to happen, right? Mm-hmm.
I think like everybody thought.
They want to sell more tickets, blah, blah, blah. So when that went down, I mean, come on. That was like, you know, like the greatest, right? Like basically once in a lifetime, right? Stone Cold is not probably, like a lot of guys keep coming back. I don't think he's going to keep coming back. I think he got to do what he did. So the only match I didn't give a shit about, Night 1, was fucking Corbin and Drew. The only match I didn't care about. Where I literally did not care what happened. Who won? Who lost? And then, sure enough, who cares? Who gives a shit? I don't like either of those guys. I don't care.
I don't think anybody cared.
Right. So it was like, why is that a Mania match? And then they do this forced Mania moment with the stupid sword. I mean,
yeah,
waste of time.
That was
So
I think the
so
point of
stupid.
that match was the whole trying to get somebody to kick out of the end of days. I think that was the whole point, since no one has ever kicked out of it.
Right.
But then again, it could have been a pre-show match. At least for me, I thought that it could have been a pre-show match,
Yeah, it could have
because
been-
that's basically what it was for. It was just to end the end of days of, like, that no one ever kicking out from it type thing. So
I honestly just like, I get that not everything can work and you got to try different things. Like, I get that. Like, we're very critical. The fan is, the hardcore fan is super critical, but it's clear that nobody cares about those guys. Why try to put either of them over? If we're not buying it, move on. Bring somebody fuck from NXT. Like, do something. Right? I'm serious.
see, I'm a fan of them. I like them. I just didn't like that concept of what they were doing. They dragged on the whole storyline of them stealing Drew's sword and all of that stuff. I thought that was,
well,
like,
and that's the
hella
other thing
extra,
too, is that you're at Mania, and you're like, well, does it need 2 nights? And it's like, well, if you didn't do a 20-minute preview video, right, of everything leading up to it, right?
And what about everything in between? I mean, they could definitely make this a one-night show again.
That's what I'm saying.
It's like a year package just to
For each
what's leading
fight.
up
And
to.
guess what? They
Yeah.
showed them the night before on SmackDown,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
And it
But
was
see, the
like,
thing is that they're already playing these things on the pre-show. Why play them during the actual
right. So they
event
play it on
itself?
Friday night. They play it on the pre-show, and there's ring stuff they got to do, and certain things they're going to get ready, right? And I understand that, but yeah, dude, you could definitely cut it out a lot. So anyway, so to be able to see, to be at night one, like, knowing Cody's coming out, right? And like, it's funny to me because like it was pretty obvious to me, like, Cody's coming and Cody's going to win. We're not going to have Cody come out and lose, right? And there was this guy next to us, like, screaming for Seth. And I'm like, dude, even if you're a Seth fan, he's not going to win this, right? Like, that's not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we love to be surprised, but it's like certain things are like, okay, like, I was genuinely surprised Charlotte won. Were you guys?
I was too.
But
I
I'm
was
glad she won.
extremely surprised.
Mm-hmm.
But there
I
was
thought
the whole-
Ronda was going to take it.
there was a whole backstage thing saying there was a lot of internet rumors that Ronda Rousey, when she found out they weren't going to main event night one, that she threw a fit. She walked out of Hall of Fame ceremony, and she was saying that she didn't want to do the match. There was all this backstage drama, but then she came out after. She's like, I don't know where people get this shit. None of that's true. Blah, 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 this and that. I mean, you can believe what you want, but she's got a history of having a pretty shitty attitude. So going back to the days.
Well, here's my thought. When she came out, and it was actually in Atlanta. That was, I think Atlanta was actually the show that I was at where she, like, signed a contract.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Triple H and Stephanie were there.
Right.
And it was like and that was that was like the second time she'd come out, right? It was like the first since Mania, maybe, of that year, whatever that was, 3 years
With
ago.
Rock.
Yeah.
And I remember thinking, like, well, she's not a very good wrestler, and she doesn't cut a good promo. So if you don't do either of those things, what are you? Like, you need to be one of those things, like one or the other, and she isn't it either. And so I was surprised that the fans liked her so much, because that's another great thing about wrestling fans, is like, you can't force somebody over on us. If we don't like you, we don't like you.
Right.
So I never understood her appeal at all.
But they liked her at first, but her last run before she went and started a family, the fans turned on her before she left. So I think they realized, they're like, you know what? Yeah, she's not getting better. She's not getting any better in the ring. She has no mic skills. She just has a bad energy about her. I was really glad to see her go. And then when I heard that she was coming back, I'm like, why?
Exactly, because it's like, you have one move, right? And we're all tired of it. And I'm glad that the fans turned on her, because again, like, I just don't. Again, like, you got to be one or the other. Some people can't cut a good promo, but they're amazing in the ring, or vice versa. And of course, the people that do it both are fantastic. But she has neither, and I couldn't. I think maybe WWE thinks this is 10 years ago, and like, her name means what it used to mean, and it just doesn't.
No, not at all. Her name doesn't carry anything anymore. She's far removed from the UFC, and I think they're seeing now that the fans are like, oh shit, the fans still don't like her. It's like, no, they don't. They don't like her. Like, she's not going to get over. She's not good in the ring. She can't cut a promo. And now they're going to do an I Quit match at the next pay-per-view with Charlotte. That no one's looking forward to that.
That should have been a Mania match. I Quit match. That should have been the Mania match.
Right.
Like,
I know Charlotte gets a lot of flack and people are kind of over her, but I'm glad she won. I'm really glad she won.
Absolutely.
I'm not glad. I'm not over her. I love her. I'm a huge Charlotte stan.
I know she does have, people that don't like her, but in my opinion, I think Charlotte is hands down the best women's wrestler in the world. You can say what you want about her. I think she has everything in the ring. She's a perfect heel. Like, everything about her, top to bottom, she's the total package.
No, I agree, and I feel like she has enough like star power that if they turn her back, that could work too.
Absolutely. Give her maybe, she loses the title and then she goes away for a little while, comes back as a baby face. They could definitely do that.
Right. Well, I heard you talking about Rhea when I first came on, and I gotta say, I don't understand how she's not in the mix. How is she not in the mix?
Who knows?
Exactly.
They keep teaming her up with people. She teamed up with Nikki ASH, and all the wind went out of her sails, and then they team her up with Liv Morgan, but Liv Morgan was having a pretty good singles run. Like, I think the women's division, they really don't know what they're doing, or they're just throwing shit up at the wall and seeing what works.
Well, listen, we've had the last few years of Becky, Bayley, Sasha, like all the, Charlotte, and it's great. Like, it's been great.
Women.
Right. But now, like, you're telling me you can't put her in the mix? She's an amazing wrestler, right? She's super hot. I mean, she kicks these girls' asses. I mean, like, I just, like, I figured they'd at least give her, like, the Rumble. You know what I mean? I'm shocked. Did he freeze on us?
Oh, I think so. He's sleeping. I'm just kidding.
I'm back. Yeah.
Oh.
I'm not sure why she hasn't been pushed yet. It seems like, I don't know. I'm surprised. I'm just shocked she hasn't got a push yet.
I know she was pushed before and she became champion, then she lost it, and then they just threw her in the back, which I don't know why. I've loved Rhea since she was back in NXT. I was a huge fan. Her moving up, I was like, hell yeah, like, this girl is gonna, exceed everyone's expectations, and she got the title, and then they just took her back, and
right.
I was like, what? Then they teamed her up with Nikki ASH, and then Nikki turned her back on her, and I was like, bro, like, it should have been the other way. Like,
right.
This girl should have been like, okay, Rhea should have been the one dominating there, should have the one turned, and maybe even turn heel. Instead of then teaming her up with now Liv and everything. I don't know. I love Liv. I love both of them. I'm a huge women's division fan.
Right.
But yes, right now they're kind of just flopping them everywhere. So I really don't know where that's going. I really want to see Natty. I want to see more of Natty. I know that now she's hitting those numbers because of the whole Guinness record of her being there for so long. But I want to see her dominate, because I feel like she's also just in the back, maybe training everybody here and there and everything because of her, her family's history. But I feel like Natty can also get a push.
I don't see that.
Liv, I know, I definitely not. She's been there for so long, and I said she's just probably just the one training, everything, like showing everybody the ropes because she's been there for so long. But definitely want to see her. I want to see where this Sasha and Naomi thing goes, because we all know Sasha be turning her back on everybody. So we'll see.
That's kind of inevitable, right?
I don't know. Nobody has learned their lesson, so we'll see how this goes.
Right.
How do you feel about it, Matt? Sasha and Naomi becoming champions.
I think it's been kind of a long time coming, right? In a lot of ways, right? Like, they definitely it like, there's not ever been, obviously, like, black women who are, right, like, it's never been a thing. So clearly, like, they're great to watch. But yeah, I feel like whoever, like, they need to start pushing the newer women out against them instead of over and over and over again, like, Becky, Bayley, like, Natty was up there for a while. But yeah, like, let's get some new blood in there. Like, let's help them, like, get some new women over. That's sort of what happens. That's what you do over time, right?
Absolutely.
Oh yeah. Did you happen to watch SmackDown? How they added Raquel onto the mix, moved her up from NXT.
No, I don't. I'm not.
Ra-
I'm no, I haven't seen that.
How tall is
Oh
she?
yes, she is 6 feet tall.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking
Raquel,
about.
Braun Strowman, his girl. Yes.
Right.
She got moved up from NXT. She got the NXT title at Stand and Deliver, got it again with Dakota Kai, and then literally that Tuesday removed it, and by Friday she was moved to SmackDown.
Right. Ray is listed, I think, as like 5'11".
She's ginormous. They had her interviewing with Kayla Braxton. Kayla Braxton must be 4 feet tall.
Right. Well, you know, if they wear the heels or the boots, then it kind of boosts them.
We see Kayla is pretty. She's not that tall. I have seen her in person for the DC Dolph Ziggler show that they run on major events and stuff. It's like a comedy show. I've seen her. She went up there. She's not the tallest.
Did you smoke her up?
No, I wish I could have. I did smoke on my way there.
That's funny.
That could be your in. You know what I'm saying? Everybody needs the good weed connection in every town. Maybe you could be the good weed connection.
Facts, for real. I'm like, let me know. Holla.
That's funny. Well, hey, Matt, I know you got kids running around in the house, and they might be looking for it. I don't know how much time you got, but I want to talk a little bit more about. Oh, we lost him. Did we lose him? Damn, that was quick. I think he accidentally lost. He accidentally might have. Let's see if he jumps back on. That was funny. Oh, there he goes. Hold on.
You were mid question. No, I got a few more minutes. You want to ask me something?
No, I just want to know. So, Lockup Podcast. What do you guys?
Yes.
What are you guys doing next? What do you guys got planned? I know this is a new thing for you guys. So tell us, our audience, a little more about it.
Sure. So Taryn and I will obviously talk wrestling. We'll talk some obstacle course racing because that's our other love, and we'll also just talk about whatever. We'll talk about family. We'll talk about what's going on in the world, and then we'll also be doing interview stuff. And since I got to go to WrestleCon and she couldn't, we were going to get a ton of content there. She had family stuff herself. I've only uploaded like 3 videos. There's so much more to come.
Yeah.
So please subscribe. You can put that in the old links or the notes to, and then follow our Instagram as well. And then the audio episodes will be dropping soon. I apologize. I don't have a date on that yet. But in the meantime, definitely follow YouTube and Instagram. And I've still got a ton of videos to come. I just have to edit them and get them up.
I love that Chelsea Green interview and that Matt Cardona came over. Now,
Brian Myers.
Like, off the camera, did you get to talk to Matt? Is he pretty much stay in character, or has he become normal?
No, that's kind of Matt. I mean, he's very intense, as you could imagine, right?
Right.
And everybody was great and made time. And Matt was like, as he said in that video, he's also producing, right? He's running the show, and he had what's his name, fucking Hornswoggle and the other guy, like he's like running the whole show,
right?
And then every night, as soon as he packs up his shit, he goes and did a match, right?
Right.
So I didn't even. I was a little I'm not shy. Like I'm pretty good at my job, and like I'm okay at approaching people. But if I'm getting a vibe that's like they don't want to be fucked with, and I don't fuck with them,
yeah.
And so speaking of which, I have to tell this one story, which I'm sure I'll tell with Taryn on the air, but I'll tell you really quickly a story because I have to tell it. But he was always just jamming. So on the last day, on Sunday, I got there. They weren't there yet. I think they had wrestled the night before. I think they'd done the multiverse of match the night before.
Yeah.
And when he was setting up, I was like, "Hey man, do you have a minute when you guys are maybe done today?" And he's like, "Yeah, sure, yeah." But it was like, so he's kind of on all the time. But listen, the guy's working, whatever. I don't hold it against him. But here's what I do hold it against. Okay. Speaking of 80s wrestlers, all right. These people, okay, the people that are at these tables, they're working. This is how they're making a living. They're selling their autograph. They're selling their photo. I get it. So I would never approach anybody when they were super busy, right? I would wait till they were slow, or I went in the morning and said, "Hey, do you have a few minutes today?" And because Taryn had recommended me to all of them, they're like, "Yes, anything for Taryn." And then a few people, just because they saw me talking to other people, they were then nice to me, right? So, for example, like I interviewed SoCal Val and Teresa, right? And Nick Aldis was right there, and so I just like said, "Hey, can I talk to you next?" And then he was great, right? He didn't know who I was, but he was great because he saw me interviewing him. So anyway, so at one point, right next to Chelsea and Angelina was Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Okay, so 80s wrestler, not a household name by any means, but I know who he is, and he's sitting there by himself, pretty much no line the entire time, like all weekend. Like once in a great while, somebody comes up, right? So at one point, I was like, "Oh, I may as well talk to him, right?" And I go, "Hey, man, you got a minute?" And he's like, just looks at me like I have like 3 heads, right? And the booker who knows, the booker booked him as well, the same booker that booked Chelsea and Angelina and Taryn. He goes, "Hey, he's working with Taryn. He's a good guy." And he's like, "I don't know who Taryn is."
Right.
And so he's just looking at me, and I said, "You don't have to, man." And he's just kind of like, it's like, dude, I would think out of boredom you would talk to me. You've been sitting here for 3 days, multiple sessions, no one's talking to you. So it just seemed bizarre. Like, okay, dude. Okay, Brutus the Barber Beefcake, that many people watching this have no idea who he even fucking is. So it just didn't.
I do, because I grew up in that era, so I know who he is. But I mean, that's
like, well, maybe that's why his table was empty.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Heel Liz is like, you know what I mean? Like
not with that attitude, sir.
Some people are like, maybe later when I'm slower, or hey, I'm trying to. I'm making money right now. Give me a few minutes, or maybe later. But he just literally was just like, "I don't know who you are. Like, fuck off." It's like, all right, dude.
Yeah.
You're twiddling your thumbs for 3 days. Brutus the Barber Beefcake. So anyway, that was my only negative experience of the entire weekend.
Well, Brutus, if you're out there, man, I mean, you should have gave Matt a shot, man. He would maybe brought some relevancy to Brutus the Barber Beefcake.
Even if you're like you could just be kind about it. You know?
Right.
Like sometimes you get people and they're like, "Oh man," because I was telling you, it's a whole other story for another time. But like, I was at Super Bowl Media Week a couple of times. And some people are like, "Hey man, I've been talking all day. I just don't have, I'm good. Yeah. Like, thank you." But this guy's just like, "I don't know who you are." And like the guy's like, "What about Taryn?" Blah blah. He's like, "I don't know who Taryn is." It's like, I'm a dick, and nobody knows who I am. And
we gonna keep it like that.
In the 80s, man.
Yeah, dude. Like, anyway, sorry, I want to end on a bummer note, but that's my only. Anyway, listen, thanks for having me on. I apologize, Taryn couldn't make it, and I apologize I had a kid day. And thank you for supporting us. And I will support you and share your links and whatnot. So let me know when this is up.
Absolutely, yeah, I'll get everything up today. I try to be quick on things, but yeah, Matt Davis, Lockup Podcast, check him out. Him and Taryn. Killer show. Check out the Chelsea Green interview. Really funny when Matt Cardona comes in at the end.
All right, man. Be good. Man,
you have a great Sunday.
All right.
Thank you.
420.
There you go.
I'll smoke him on next time I see him.
Be really high next time he comes back on.
Right? I'm like, where's my damn? Like, no, it's me.
Know who Brutus Barber Beefcake is?
I don't.
Okay. Well, that makes me feel old, but I mean, that's fine. I am old, so it's all right.
Oh,
he's a wrestler from the 80s. He was a good guy from the 80s. He used to rock a mullet. I mean, he was cool. Nobody huge. And like he said, not a household name. But if you watched WWF in the 80s and 90s, you knew who he was. But it's unfortunate that he was a dick. But I guess, I might be a little grumpy too if I didn't have a line all weekend.
True, but like he said, he could have at least told him, in a nice way. There's a way to, kind of like, reject the offer. But damn, that's fucked up. That's messed up. See, that's why sometimes they say that saying, you shouldn't meet your heroes, right? Sometimes
you don't want to
hero, but yeah, you don't want to meet your hero sometimes because then they turn out like that guy.
Hey, I know we're running a little short on time. I did want to talk to you about the GCW show, but really quick, are you going out to Jimmy's World Order to meet Johnny Gargano? Gargano?
Yes,
There you go.
sir. Yes, I got my shirt ready. So as soon as we get off the air, I already told my boyfriend, I was like, you better be ready because I've been seeing, I have a couple followers that have been saying that they've already been there since like 8, 9 in the morning trying to make a line because they know it's gonna be big today.
Yeah, but you want me to just message them on Instagram, or aren't you do you talk to them on Instagram, Jimmy's World Order, or no?
Yeah, of course.
Just tell them you're coming down. Just tell them you're coming down. Don't like, girl, don't be shy.
I'll probably sneak in there because it starts till 12 and it's only like 30 minutes. It's like a 30-minute drive, if that, like with traffic, because there's no freeways around here that would take me directly there, so I have to take the streets.
You better get
so it's probably like so right, I literally like I'm already ready. The only thing I have to do is just like change into some pants because I'm in some shorts. I actually posted on my story earlier. I was like, I'm in my shorts, but so I am gonna be at JWO's right now. Just right after this, I'm just gonna change, get ready, and then head out. I will be posting. I will be vlogging. I vlogged yesterday, so I will be working on that. I'm gonna be posting that on my new YouTube channel. But I will be
talking about that.
Oh yes, so I have finally made my new made a new YouTube channel. So make sure you guys go subscribe. I will be vlogging all of these wrestling events that I go to. Indies, WWE, AEW. I have AEW a whole week coming up in like a month and a half, I think. What's it called? Rampage in Vegas. Then I have Double or Nothing. That's Sunday, and then Dynamite here in LA that upcoming Wednesday, and then that Friday I'm finishing it off with Rampage here in Ontario. So it's gonna be crazy. I have a couple events here and there in between from now to DON. So I'll definitely be posting a lot more on my YouTube channel. Right now, I do have to work on editing those videos from last night because that shit was crazy. But GCW, bro, I've been telling you, Tony, you have to get out to LA. You have to get out to LA.
Well, I can catch a flight because the airport is 10 minutes from me. I can catch a flight to LA. So.
Ooh, there's another GCW show coming up. They announced it yesterday. Let me confirm the date because I don't remember. I was drunk. And I remember cheering because I was like, hell yeah. But I don't remember the day. I don't know if it's April. I'm pretty sure it's May, but I'll let you know. And hopefully you're able to come down to LA and join us for GCW.
Well, I will let you go, but I want to talk to you off the air really quick. But I want to give a shout out to Matt Davis from the Lockup Podcast. Make sure you check them out on YouTube, on Instagram. Hit subscribe, like, share with all your friends. I am your host, Tony Twist, Heel Liz. This is ATW, All Things Wrestling Podcast. You guys have a great Sunday, and we're out of here.